Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We're Baltimore positive. We're positively wrapping things up here at Pizza John's. We're wrapping it up because my pal John Allen has ordered a meat sauce pizza here. I got a little bit of it in my teeth right now, but I'm going to get some more. We're Pizza John's in Essex, all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I have Maryland Treasures scratch-offs to give away. You were an artist once, John. This was an art competition here. 4 different winners here of horses and mollusks and the Bay Bridge and Ocean City, where there's a rumor you're playing a free show in Ocean City here soon with Stone Horses, right?
Yeah. We got a show next Saturday, May the 9th. We're doing an early show, like 3 to 5, like happy hour. So there'll be drink specials and all that stuff. And we're going to get crazy at Beach Barrels, for the beach down there, WZBH 93.5. They're playing the track, the new single, Make a Living.
Which I heard before the public heard it.
You
I heard
did.
it in your car.
I tried
You and I were driving around.
I tried it out on you.
I want you to hear this. Turn this up for me. I feel special. So the song feels like it's doing well. I love you. I know you. We could talk about Child's Play. I don't understand modern. You asked me the other day how to get my music, and I got an iPod. Like listening to Make a Living. Like, how do I get it to my MP3s? How do I like all of that? The way I listen to music isn't Spotify. I'm an old guy. I don't understand what would make it successful, what would get it on the radio. I know 98 Rock has played it. I know other places have played it. I know you're trying to get it played, but I also know you don't have Chrysalis Records anymore and an AR guy and a national tour, and you're not getting on the AC/DC South American leg like the Pretty Reckless or whatever. But I don't know what the track is to be in a rock and roll band, even though I love you and care about you and think, well, I think the song's doing well, and I'm sharing, and other people are sharing and listening to it, and I know you're playing a bunch of gigs. Just give me a little update on like how a band like Stone Horses will try to get that song out, and then you'll call me in July and say, hey, we're on a tour in November, December, January. And
well, a guy like you,
what do I do?
You get your cassette and you pop it in that tape player, and you sit by,
I don't have a tape player.
And you sit by your radio. And you wait for 90
and
Rock.
I tape it.
Wait for 90 Rock to play it, and then you hit the play.
And I hope that Amelia
record.
shuts up before she starts playing the song, right? Like literally.
Oh yeah, she won't step on it. She won't talk.
She knows better.
Yeah. And you can't do a talk up on it because there's a vocal right from the get. Yeah, I scream right at the beginning of the song. But yeah, so it's doing well. Radio is picking it up all over. We're on about like 16 stations across the United States right now.
Now that is you emailing the people at the station and saying no.
No,
I don't know how this works. I have no idea. Teach me.
It's so we hire a radio promotion company that hopefully they have relationships with stations that I don't. Now, through the years from we were talking about Charm City Devils earlier, through the success of that band, we had a hit with our remake of the Manicansasaro song. And so I've kept in contact with a lot of those radio people and cultivated those relationships. But it's tough because everything is moving so fast nowadays. A lot of those people don't have jobs anymore in radio. Some of them are out of it like completely. So those friends that you make sometimes sometimes they're gone, and there are new people that you have to strike up these relationships with from scratch. But so we're doing that, and you hope for online presence. We're promoting as much as we can online. We're trying to figure all that out. The landscape.
How do you want people to find you? Like you promote the song. I heard it in your car. You tell me it was coming. You're like, I'm working on it. You ditch me for a month. You're like, I got to get this finished. Yeah. And you get it out, and then you have a bunch of shows, and you're obviously you have a lane for this. You played the Auto Bar last week. Mm-hmm. You're playing that in Hagerstown. We talked about that.
Yeah, we have a bunch of dates that we put on ourselves. We're doing a bunch of free shows for radio stations. Like we've got one. It's not announced yet, but Roanoke, we're going to do one. We've got the one down at the beach in Ocean City. There probably will be one in Atlantic City in the future. We're talking.
This makes you a regional band as Stone Horses. Well, in that way.
Well, you got to build out somewhere. We're hoping to catch on to. I'm busy every day emailing and talking to agents and trying to. Our agent is submitting us for tours right now, so we're hoping to get onto a national tour sooner rather than later. But it's like you said, it's hard for an independent band like ours to to get the notice. There's
Like
bands,
you open for STP down at the
Right.
So you get on that, but you're trying to get on an STP or a Buckshot bands that are like your
multiple
band.
dates.
Right, yeah.
Correct.
I see. I don't even know the lane, like the Breaking Benjamins and those kinds of bands. That's the lane, right? Kind of, sort of
Well-
like you want to get on one of those kinds of tours, all right?
Right, or and
Festivals
and
too,
festivals
sure.
as well. And it's funny in my experience throughout the years, it's been harder to get a big-time agent than it is to get a record deal. Even when we had a record deal, Child's Play, back in the day, we were on Chrysalis. We couldn't get a sniff from one of the major agencies. We wound up with a boutique agency who now has grown, and they've done quite well for themselves. But they were called Pinnacle, still called Pinnacle, and they do great now. They have Rob Zombie, and they have Lizzie Hale. They have Hailstorm. So they've grown, and they've become one of the major players now. But yeah, so it's tough. It's kind of like that actor agent thing. Like you can't get a movie without an agent, but you can't,
Get an agent without a movie.
Right.
So, okay.
So
all
it's
right.
kind of like that, and it's not easy, and it kind of goes back to the whole thing about this song, Make a Living. It's like I still haven't figured it all out. All these years I've been doing it. It's just like how the hell can I make a living at this, what I'm doing, and it's and it speaks to I guess the times that we're in right now with how bad the economy and gas prices are and all that. So
When did you start the song? When did it hit you?
I started it last year, and I still was thinking, like this, because we were coming out of the tail end of COVID, and we had, luckily we had kind of, we had been shielded from the real economic catastrophe that all the economists were predicting.
Still are.
Right, and now so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about my situation, and I was thinking about just guys that we grew up with and people that I still know, like they're still out there, just trying to get by, and to think about people who are struggling even more than that, it makes me think about their situations, and I wanted to write about it.
I had a couple politicians who are talking about poverty right here in Baltimore County.
Yeah.
Just in a general sense of like how hard it is to make a living. And so when do you have the genesis of the song? Because, I know you're really excited about this song. I've just known you my whole life, and I'm like, this is where you are right now. You put your life into everything you're doing. Hey, I'm right here at Pizza John's right now, and I'm doing the Crab Cake Tour, and I'm as into this as I was ever into writing a book on Purple Rain or anything I've ever done. You want to be very passionate about what you're doing, but I feel like you're on to that this is a really strong track for you. That you...
Yeah.
And you write a lot of songs, but I don't know what makes
Yeah.
one feel like the one you want to get behind.
Yeah, they're all different. I used to be very protective, and I used to think like, this song, is like my baby, and I don't really think about them in that way anymore. I know that like when I'm working on something, I'm very close to it, and I have high expectations for it, and I want it, I want it to be great, and I want people to hear it. And maybe removed several months down the road, you go, oh yeah, it's not as great as I thought it was, or whatever. But this one, how it started, it was just me plugging a guitar in and having a killer, huge guitar tone, like an AC/DC on steroids type of vibe, and the music just came out very quickly. The verses came out very quickly. Lyrically, I was struggling over the chorus for a while. I didn't have much of a chorus. And I talked to my old songwriting partner, Mitch Allen, out in L.A. And I said,
Genius.
yeah, and I sent it to him, and I said, what do you think? And he was like, I think you should, come up with a line and just kind of repeat that, a bunch. And so I did that, sent that to him, and he was like, and I hear this, and he kind of just, scat it like a melody for the second part of the chorus, which to me takes it to another level, and boom, it was done, and I thought, okay, now we've got something here. We've got an anthem for every working man and every working woman out there.
John Allen's been my friend all my life. His band is Stone Horses. The song is Make a Living. It's so I you didn't answer the original question, which is how do you want people to consume this? I mean, like literally download it. How can people that love you or love your bands or support you? Because I'm wondering that as your friend, I'm like, or even as the guy with the radio station, like, how do you want them to consume it? What's the most helpful thing that your listeners can do?
Most helpful thing that they can do is to download the song. So if you're on Spotify, right, you go on Spotify, you listen to the song. If you like it, you hit that little heart. That means you're favorited it.
That helps the algorithm, right?
Yeah,
whatever that is. Sure,
exactly.
Right? Okay.
You download the song.
So make sure you like it. Okay,
yeah, you
that's
like it.
All right.
You like it. You follow the band, and then you also create playlists. And that's when you download the song. You can
add it to your playlist.
You add it to your playlists. Make 100 playlists if you want. Put us in there with your favorite artists or whatever. And
I like that. All right.
and that helps. That helps out a lot.
Thanks for telling me that, because I really didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't equate I don't even equate that with my own business, because I get accused of being clickbait, which is hilarious. I don't think about getting clicked on. I think about creating the best shit I can create.
Right.
And if it gets clicked on, great. But I'm here.
Right.
That's how. Put that on my tombstone. I just try to create the best thing I could create on any given day.
Yeah.
And if AI creates it for me and helps me with it, I ain't, you know why? And this is where you and I could get sideways artists on AI or collaborators. You just told me, in all of your narcissism as your rock star, at the hour of your need, you're still reaching to another human. You're still reaching to Mitch. We're all. I like to think the same thing. Like, my writing's mine. I'm not going to let anyone see it.
Right.
I was going to bourgeois you and Phil that I actually wrote that curatorial thing, even though I didn't. But because it did it better than I could do it, or it did it in my style with my clone in the way I would write it. But I think that there's a narcissism about anyone that creates art to say, this is all mine, it's WNST's all mine, and this is my thing. And what do you think of it? We all want to like have a little piece of what do you think of it, or check it when it's done. Lately, I've been in your car, and you've been much more, what do you think of this? You've never done that in all these years I've known you. Like, there is a point for you that despite being the rock star and you write it yourself, there is that feedback you want from different people to hone it and make it better.
Well, one of the things about that, like I was telling you, it's a strange thing. I can listen to a song idea over and over, hundreds of times. But as soon as I play it for somebody, it gives me a different perspective. I don't know what switch gets hit when that happens, but I've played songs in front of other people than yourself, and I've gone, oh, yeah, this is not where it should be. You know, this is not as good as I thought it was on this part or that part, or maybe overall.
It's like talking it out with your wife or something. It just helps me to talk it out with you. It just helps me to have you hear it and see what your body does and see what.
Yeah, I just don't.
Right?
I don't know what it is, because it's like I remember one of the first times it struck me like that. I was playing something for either a record company guy or a radio station guy, and I'm sitting in the room and I'm going, oh shit, you know,
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, this isn't, you know. So it's more for me, kind of, and it's almost, I don't want to disparage you or any. It's not as much about your feedback or your reaction. It's how I feel about presenting it, and I don't know what it is within myself that allows me to step outside of myself, because while I'm working on something, I have all these thoughts of the potential of the song. I don't really see it for what it is, I guess. And as soon as I played something for you or for somebody else, I actually look at it at face value, because it's the first time you're hearing it.
Well, you put it on. We were in a car coming back from Hagerstown, and you cranked it up, and it was dark, and I'm in your car. You're not, like, looking at me to see if I'm tapping my toe. I'm clearly not singing along. I'm just trying to, like, vibe out. Like, all right, I just got in the car, and the new Buckcherry song's on, or the new Band X. I don't even know what band it is. Do I like it or do I not, right? There's a whole internet thing where they play old songs for people that never heard them, and they're like, thumbs up, I've never heard Bohemian Rhapsody. Do I like it or not, you know? And would it still be a good song? And my wife watches American Idol all the time, right? So I get to see this kid from Bel Air and the girl from Frederick. My wife loves that. She loves tryouts. She loves The Voice. She loves all those kind of shows. And I watch it, and I always think, like, good or bad. And my wife loves doing this with me. We're watching the finals of American Idol. Like, I'm like 6 of them into it. I'm like, none of these are any good. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, that's great. That's great. And you find yourself, I think that's the beauty of American Idol is saying thumbs up, thumbs down. Do I like it? Do I not? But for you to do that to me intimately in a car as an artist, you are looking for some sort of feedback in some way that I always think like, well, what good am I? He's the guy making the music, But I do like bouncing things off at people.
Yeah.
But I do think that people would say, well, you make your own thing all the time. What do you care about my feedback for?
Right.
That's why I was asking you about it, because, like, when do you know it's done?
Yeah.
When do you know? And my wife said the same thing. If you're writing a column, how do you know it's done? I don't know. When
It's
you
a
feel
tough
it.
thing.
When you feel it,
Well, the song was already out. It was already streaming, speaking to that. And I'm here. I'm listening to it.
And you want to
one
change
day.
it already?
I don't want to change it, but I heard a counter melody musically underneath the chorus now. I was like, crap. I could have played the guitar. I could have done this counter, melody, ascending melody or descending melody. But yeah, it's like okay. At some point you got to say it's finished.
Published.
Yeah, it's finished. And with speaking to what you said about reaching out to Mitch, it's more of a case for me now. It's like if I'm a little stuck or I just want to make it the best it can be at this point. And the way the world is moving so quickly, it's like you've got to keep producing material. It's not like the old days. You could take a year and a half or whatever between records. It's already been a year since our last record. And I have a backlog of material, but it's not out yet, so we'll start parsing that stuff out, further down the road. But yeah, it's about speed and productivity now, and maybe the AI thing is
Tom
something.
Scholl's waiting to get Boston 2 done.
Oh,
not
my gosh.
gonna, right.
Yeah.
Def Leppard trying to get Hysteria done. No, we got to get we got to get music out,
Yeah,
right?
it seems like those days are probably gone, right? But you can't argue with the success and the quality of those records.
Here's my thing. Like, back in the day, you would have been hanging out to get the right producer. You had a producer. We've talked about your Child's Play albums. We promote Child's Play. By the way, John Allen is here from Stone Horses and Child's Play. They are playing on the 30th down in Columbia as Child's Play. Stone Horses doing a whole bunch of stuff. You can find them, including the new song.
StoneHorsesMusic.com.
Fair enough. So this notion that, like, you're doing this alone in your house with your own equipment, you have no manager saying, well, I like the brown glasses, not the blue ones, and your hair's blonde now, but you probably should put a color in it because that's what the kids are doing. Or, like, whatever it is, whatever the opinions are, there is a point where even when you're alone, you call Mitch and say, hey, man, I need an opinion on this, but you don't want somebody barking over your shoulder and saying, like, when you're signed to a record company or when you have Mr. Big managing you, well, we should move the band in this direction or whatever. You've dealt with all of that in all the bands you were in. You weren't even the band leader in one of the bands you're in, right? So you're an employee at that point. You've worked in all of that. There is something very liberating about being narcissistic and alone and working on your own art and all that. But even when you do that, you do call in recon. There's a point, what I mean? I think that's the most interesting part about anyone that creates art is that at the end of the day, even if you're the most solo person, I'm sure Justin Bieber and the underwear thing he tried that out on somebody. That's not the first, you want an audience of some kind to give you feedback before you take it to the street, I would say, right?
Well, yeah, but I also like to collaborate too. So a lot of times when I'm just writing by myself, it's because there's no one else around. It happens.
You prefer a partner to some degree.
Yeah, my guitar player's not there. I really love the collaborative process when I'm playing with somebody who inspires me, somebody that comes up with a guitar riff that is incredible. And there's been so many instances in the last few years where I've had these great guitar players come up with stuff, and I'm like, oh, crap. Now my job is to not mess this germ of an idea up. Like, the lyric and the melody have to be complementary to what this guy came up with on guitar, And that's the other thing about music. There's so many steps along the way where it can get all effed up. From you starting the song, writing it, to the recording process of not getting the right sounds, to the mixing process, to the mastering process.
I've read books from musicians, and
Yeah.
it really is a get inside your head
Yeah.
in the same way that Kobe Mayo's trying to figure out how to hit baseball right now, right?
Yeah.
Like to some degree, you have the skill to do it. You know, now it's got to get out of you to some
Right.
degree. And creating music is just something that's beyond the scope for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm a writer. If you said, come over to my house right now, help me write a song, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Right.
Like it's just a completely different process, and I don't understand your process. That 3 a.m. you wake up with a melody in your head, and you got to get it out, and you run.
Right.
You leave your wife in bed, and you run downstairs, and you try to get it out, speak it out, sing it out, bang it out, play it out, whatever it is. I understand that that's the way most musicians work, right? It's
Yeah.
very inspiration. You go to the bathroom here, Pete Johns, and come out and have a song because, and you're always sort of looking for that. The way comedians are always looking for a hook, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. And I used to feel like the only time the real inspiration came was like severe depression, like when there was a breakup and there were
Or
all
they
these
had
other
to be
things.
drunk or high to right. Yeah, there's that rock star thing, right? They give me my bottle, right? You know, like your song from 40 years ago. That there was a thought when you were a kid that like I'm better, I'm looser.
Well, that wasn't written under any influence at all. I think I was driving in a car and I came up with a lyric, and
That's your song. I didn't know that.
And I
I thought Brian wrote that. I didn't know.
No.
I didn't know.
He just elevated it with his great vocal,
He sings it so
acumen.
well that I think it's his song.
Oh yeah.
Well, Geddy Lee's
Definitely.
been singing for 50 years. They were all Neil songs.
Right. Yeah, well, but I have to give credit to Nick. Like I sang the lyric to him or showed him the lyric. I don't remember now, but I have this memory of being at the practice space, getting ready to rehearse, and showing it to him, and he just started playing the opening riff to it, and then from there it went to had the chorus, and then from that the no more part just kind of came together just like magic. Like there's a process sometimes with music that it's just out there and it just kind of happens. And
I'm with my girl the other night. I thought that was Brian. I heard Brian in that. It's you the whole time.
Yeah.
1985. I'm going to leave with this. Didn't you get like a gold something? The band's playing. End of the summer, they're playing.
Bowling for
Soup.
Yeah. No, they're touring all the time. They still have a huge fan base here and in England, and that's the plaque that I just.
What did you get? What's your plaque?
It was a platinum plaque for the UK, I think. Yeah. For 2 times platinum or 1 time platinum. We're approaching 3 times platinum here in the United States for their album that song was on. Yeah.
I have a lot of Whitesnake on my iPod because
Okay.
I love Whitesnake.
I love David Coverdale.
I love David. I think we've talked about this
Loved
recently.
him in Purple. Yeah.
I like Whitesnake more now than I even did 20 or 30 years ago. And I loved In the Still of the Night, and I loved Slow and Easy and all that. But now when I listen to it, I'm like, they're among the better of that genre.
Yeah.
Like 40 years later, when I look at the songs and the body of work and all that. But
that was an amazing marriage of a singer and a guitar player, John Sykes, who just passed away.
Yeah.
He was the guy that wrote all those songs off the really it was 2 records that the first one with I guess Slow and Easy on it, that was their Ascent.
Sure.
And then the next record. I was following David Coverdale because I was a huge Deep Purple fan, and when he had Whitesnake, I remember I had Ready and Willing, this record. It was at the Kmart right in your neighborhood that I purchased it.
Blue Light Special.
And I loved, that record. But he had that English thing going where he was always changing guitar players, and the rest of the band was like a never-ending carousel, with like him and Rainbow and all those guys. And they were all like almost interchangeable until John Sykes paired with him, and then they just wrote those 2 amazing albums, and then they blew up.
She was going to shake her ass on the hood of Whitesnake's car. I love that. John Allen is here. He is my lifer pal. He is Stone Horses and Charm City Devils and SR71, and we'll be putting Child's Play back together again later on in the month. They're going to be playing down in Columbia as a tribute to Brian Jack. Where did Brian grew up on the other side of Mesa Avenue, right?
No.
More toward EVT
no,
or no?
He's right here.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right down. You said it earlier. Marlboro Road.
So he grew up by the Seagull.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
from that neighborhood.
He used to ride his bike down there.
I didn't know that. I always saw him on the other side of Essex. I didn't know that.
No.
Well, I'm glad you set that straight. Who's in the band now? Nick's boy going to be with you guys playing that
Yes.
night? Give me the whole lowdown on for people that haven't seen a Child's Play reunion.
So we kind of do a little kind of mishmash of things, right? So when we start the set,
We have a video tribute too, though, right? Too?
yeah,
okay.
we'll have
That'll
it.
be
So
neat.
we'll start off the set, and we will have Jason Heiser on drums, taking my place back there, and I'll do my best to honor Brian by singing out front, and then Nick, of course, on guitar, Phil Weiser, original bass player, on bass, and to fill in for the other guitar slot, Nick's son, Mick McCauley.
Hinshaw coming out. What are we doing here?
Okay, yeah, sorry. And then we bring Larry out, who started the band with Brian, and he'll do a bunch of songs that he wrote, and in that era.
You got to do
with
one
Child's Play.
AC/DC cover, right?
We'll do some AC/DC. I just got a request for Down Payment Blues from my buddy Two Beer Tom, and so we're probably going to pull that one out, and yeah, it should be a good time.
I saw AC/DC. You were there with your wife down in D.C. A couple summers ago. I saw them in Santiago,
summer, yeah.
Chile 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And to see how big your brand of rock and roll, the tattoo 80s, Guns N' Roses, Metallica wing of not the Rolling Stones or U2, which is also big in South America, but anything that's in the Motorhead, Pantera, Guns N' Roses, Pantheon. It's unbelievable. Rush is touring down there in the fall. Yeah. I saw Chips Enough a couple weeks ago, and I got back, and he said, I went down there with Adler, man. Oh, my God, we played. They love that music down there. So they're really – seeing AC/DC in South America was otherworldly.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well,
it was on fire.
So we're trying to promote as much as we can to like Brazil and Chile and Argentina and such because of that.
They
fact.
love your music,
and like the new single, that's where we are promoting it because it's in that wheelhouse. It's in that AC/DC kind of. I've heard people say that it reminds them of Child's Play,
I do. I hear Child's Play in that song.
It's my it's where I come from, so it's real.
Make a living.
It's not AI.
But it could, I wouldn't say AI could make it better, but it could make it different. John Allen is here. He is getting the band together. If you're down at the beach next week, they'll be playing at Ocean City. Free show. Roanoke coming soon. What else am I missing anything? I get everything in there.
We got Hagerstown on May 29th, the night before the Child's Play show. Yeah, so we got May 9th.
You got to rest up. You got work to do, dude.
I know. I got a lot of stuff.
Listen,
to
next
do.
time you play the Auto Bar, I need one of those matinees. I need one of those 5:30, 6 o'clock shows.
Right? You done? Go home. You're in
Pop
bed by
Ness
9.
got to go to bed sometime.
Man,
I mean, I hear that, but I do like a free show. 98 Rock is supporting the new single, "Make a Living." You can like it, you can share it, you can download it, you can throw John a note, let him know that you dig it as well.
Please, thank you.
And we are here in Essex, Maryland, home of Brian Jack, within walking distance.
And Phil Weiser.
And Phil Weiser, of course, who now has. I put my belt buckle back on, but I'm wearing my Pacifica belt buckle. At some point, I'll get John to sell me one of his Aerosmith ones or something like that. We're signing off from Pizza John's, all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. By the way, you're the artist guy. Which one? You took the Ocean City one. Okay.
Yeah.
Ocean City
great.
Boardwalk, they really are. You being the artist guy, you are too. You might ponies from Assateague, as well as the Blackwater motif, and of course the Bay Bridges, as opposed to the Key Bridge. Two links there.
Brian was a phenomenal artist, by the way.
Better than you?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Better than Rodney Baker? Not that good.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to say better or worse or whatever
but talented.
because super talented. So much so, I didn't know Brian. I didn't know anything about Child's Play. It might have been before Child's Play existed, but I was sitting in art class at Dundalk Senior High, and my art teacher went to the seniors show that was at Essex Community College and videoed pieces of art that he thought were really strong. And I don't remember any of the other pieces of art except for one. It was a series of faces cast in plaster. And the first one was a guy, just eyes closed. He had kind of bumps on his forehead. The next one, he's wincing in pain, and the bumps are kind of look like they're kind of popping open.
More pronounced, like
more pronounced.
Yeah, okay.
The next one, they're bursting open. There's like 4 of them. And the next one, you can see it's a hand coming out of the guy's forehead. And it was.
So this was a hand reaching through the head.
It was a hand coming through the head, and the face is just agonizing, right, in pain. And it always stuck with me. Cut to a year or so into me playing with Child's Play. I'm at his parents' house. I'm up in his bedroom, which was over the garage. I'd walked up these stairs. I would turn to leave, and I'm walking down the stairs, and there's the piece hanging over the staircase. I was like, "Oh my God, dude!" I'm like,
I saw that in an exhibit.
I saw this, and it blew me away. I had no idea that you did this. And so then he showed me all these other pieces that he had done. He had actually, I was talking to his mother recently. He had a full scholarship to the Maryland Art Institute.
Wow.
Which I had no idea. So, yeah, he was an incredibly gifted person. Just a charismatic, fantastic voice. Just a fantastic guitar player. Unbelievable artist.
I
all
performed with
around.
Brian Jack one time. I told you that,
did?
right?
No.
He jumped on stage with me and Ace and Paul Lamantia and did Rebel Yell with us at the end of a night at the Stone Cellar in
It's one
Ellicott
of his favorites,
City.
man. Billy Idol. He loved Billy Idol.
He literally.
He did.
He said, "What song do you guys know? I'm going to do." And Paulie's worried about giving him a guitar, because he needed a guitar. Yeah. And he saw our set. He's like, "When do you do Rebel Yell?" I'm like, "First song of the encore. I'm going to do Rebel Yell with you." I'm like, Brian Jack's going to get up, shake his ass in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
He was a little inebriated. He was a little but he was fantastic.
Well, it was the end of the night.
It was a great night,
said
dude.
It was an encore, right?
It was a Saturday night in Ellicott City.
Right,
I'll never forget it. We love Brian. I know you love Brian.
Right.
Everybody loved Brian. The 30th, get down to Columbia and support them. Reckless
Shepherd.
Reckless Shepherd. Boy, that's like saying Farnan and
Right,
Dermer.
it's tough.
I tell these guys a Farnan and Dermer.
Reckless
410-367-7777 is Farnan and Dermer, our friends at GBMC and the Maryland Lottery. And, of course, how you remember phone numbers, especially from Dundalk? 410-687-7733. I've been dialing that number. It leads right here to Pizza John's. You can get yourself a Works pizza, get yourself a cheesesteak. After this GBMC blood report, I've been getting double provolone on my cheesesteaks. This is what I'm going to do as my concession.
That's why you got big, thick chunks of
No,
provolone floating around in your veins.
Don't tell me that. I'm too healthy for that. I'm too sexy for all that. All right, my thanks to everybody here at Pizza John's, including Terry and Brett and everybody making it happen, Michelle. We're signing off from the homeland of Brian Jack and Child's Play at Pizza John's in Essex. Back for more. And Phil Weiser, back for more right after this. Put me in the Hall of Fame, Phil, please.